We got Pete versus Pollo of Spawn round 2, but in a finals, in an actual tournament. No scrims, no excuses. Who comes out on top? I'm going to show you how every off Spawn went because they were insane. If you guys missed any of the action, I've got you covered. This off Spawn was so fun to watch, and I don't want to spoil it, but we might have some new champs on the block. Clicks, however, absolutely dominating in the finals, should have had 2 wins, but potentially had one taken to a cheater. However, a lot of players saying this person wasn't cheating, they were just being smart. I'll break down the whole situation because it's a little bit messy, it's a little bit weird. Also, we had some big teams missing out on finals on EU. We had no Veno, no Queasy, no Savage, no Cammy. Is it something to do with the meta, or are just the big teams struggling over on EU? There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. We got to see it again. Peterbot's team versus Pollo off Spawn, but not just in scrims, in an actual tournament in the finals where every single win is $1,200. Now, this one is a crazy one. You've probably seen already, but I want to show you guys how each spawn fight went so you can make up your own mind who is coming out on top, Pete or Pollo. Now, going into game 1, I really didn't know what to expect. I talked about in yesterday's video. Pollo overall is doing better at this off-spawn fight, but most of the time, someone on the team has been playing with someone else. Either Yumi's playing instead of Acorn or Factory's playing instead of Cold. We've only seen the 2 teams go at it 2 times, and they went 1-1. So I really didn't know what to think coming into this, and right off the bat, Pollo fired. Pete, Ritual, and Cold versus Acorn, Ages, and Pollo. We've seen how it goes down in scrims. First time we're seeing them actually contest each other in a real tournament, and Pollo's team right now has the advantage. Pollo has best drop right now. Oh, Pollo and Ages, I think, have best drop right now. Who the f is Trooper 86? Never mind, it's fine. Acorn goes in, Pete goes in. Pete gets the blue chest. Does Acorn get the gun? Acorn gets beamed. Wait a second. No, Pete goes down. Cold is the last one standing. Pollo's team dominating right now. Pollo absolutely putting on a show right now. This might be the Pollo domain. It's Pollo and Ages. Acorn's gone down. It's Cold in the 1v2. He's got the purple Scrody. Can he make it happen? It's a shotgun, but it's not a good one. Pollo on the back foot, and Pollo wins it with no shotgun. Pollo, Acorn, and Ages are gonna win round 1 at Demon's Domain. We might have to hit instant replay there. We got to watch that back. We got to watch that back to see exactly what happened. All right, let's take a break it down. What do we have? Ritual actually got down and got the first gun. So Richie did his job. Richie got down. Richie got gun first. Acorn goes for the blue chest. Ages gets this gun though. So Ages lands in front of Pollo. Ages gets the shotgun. Takes down Ritual, but Ritual at least took down Acorn. At that point, Peterbot was going for the chest. Gets the chest. Blocks it off. And just an absolutely beautiful jump pump shot from Ages. I'm not going to lie. Ages played that amazing. Ages got the shotgun, took down Ritual, who got the first gun, and then took down Pete with a jump 1 pump. Pollo closes it out with the SMG. The burst pistol, actually, but I'm not gonna lie, Ages played that phenomenal. Now, this was a pretty clean wipe, but to be fair, Ages absolutely popped off here, hitting a 100 with a Grey Twin Fire auto. I didn't even know the Grey Twin Fire could hit for 100 on the Peterbot. So, phenomenal plays by Ages. They got the better drops, but honestly, this could have gone either way. Pollo's looking great, but coming into game 2, they had to prove they could do it again, and oh boy. Ages, Pollo, and Acorn. Pete, Cold, and Ritual. Is it Pollo's domain after all? 1-0 right now. Can they keep it going? We've only had 90 players loaded in. We're missing 3 teams right now. Who's going to have best drop, chat? Who's it going to be? Pollo's been the carry so far. Let's see if he can do it again. Pollo gets down. Does he get the shotgun? Pollo does. Pollo with the god drop gets the shotgun. Takes down Ritual. Pete has to run. Pete doesn't get the chest. Cold holds him off. But Cold hits the pump shot but trades it out because they have more guns. Pete runs back at him. Pollo hits the dance moves. Pollo with 3 kills off Spawn. Pollo's domain. Oh my god. He had the best drop. He got the shotgun again. I'm not going to lie. I think in the 8 games I've watched... No, sorry. 7 games I've watched off Spawn now, Pollo's had the gun 6 times. It's actually crazy. He's so good at dropping for this drop. Alright, at this point, things are starting to look a bit rough for Peterbot. Pollo's team is just severely out-dropping them consistently. They've won 2 games off-spawn in a row. Pete has cemented his legacy over years as being the best off-spawn fighter. If he loses this one, things are looking really, really bad. Pete versus Pollo. Is it going to be a hat-trick? A 3-0 to Pollo. Oh, wait a second, though. Pete's locked in. Pete's got a good drop. Pete's got a really good drop. Acorn, unfortunately, trailing behind. I think Acorn messed up. It's going Pete versus Pollo right now. Who gets down first? Pollo has to swerve. Pollo swerves all the way off. Acorn swerves. Aegis swerves. They get beaten out. Pete gets top priority. Wait a second. This is looking very different in round number 3. Pete, Ritual, and Cole get top priority. Pete gets a green shotgun. Off spawn, this might as well be a gold gun. Meanwhile, Ritual's only got the green auto. Pollo goes down. Pollo gets landed on. The carry is out. It's up to Aegis and Acorn. I believe Aegis is sitting on this window right now. He is. Aegis is on the window. Can't find his way in. He's stuck on the stairs. Cole gets some damage. Ritual goes down. It's a 2v1. Acorn comes in, but Cold closes it out. Ritual, Pete, and Cold are going to win Demon's Domain. It's 2-1. Pete, Cold, and Ritual, just right as everyone was starting to talk smack saying Pete fell off, it's over. They managed to win a game of Spawn. At this point, I'm pretty sure Acorn had a really rough drop. Pollo and Aegis weren't comfortable committing to a 2v3 on the top level. They swerved out, and then Pete ended up getting the best of him. Now, in Pete's defense, they went on to win this game with 17 eliminations. So from the one game Pete made it off Spawn, absolutely popped off, whereas Acorn, Aegis, and Pollo weren't able to get a win in their first 2 games either. So while Acorn's team is beating them out on Spawn, Pete is winning on the overall leaderboard. But I've got to give full credit to Pollo, Acorn, Aegis here. They're absolutely holding it down at Demon's Domain now. With one more game, can we see Pete go 3-1 off Spawn? Here we go. Cole, Ritual, and Peterbot versus Pollo, Acorn, and Aegis. Round 4. Pete's only won 1 today, but he went on to win the game. He has to drop the victory crown. Bit of a subtle flex while we fly in here. Who's got best drop? Last game, Acorn's team got out dropped. They had to swerve. This time, Pollo has got a heater. Pollo's first in for sure. Wait, Ritual's right on top of him. Pollo gets the gun. Gets the blue Sentinel shotgun. Ritual goes down. Pollo has been, without a doubt, the MVP today of this off-spawn fight. Pollo gets down, grabs the shotgun. Ritual now. Unfortunately, the first to fall, but Ritual, great drop from Ritual too. He almost challenged for it, just couldn't grab it. Meanwhile, Aegis also gets the gun, gets the Elam as well. You know what? It's got to be Pollo or Aegis. Both have been playing crazy, to be fair. Peterbot goes for the beam. He's only got a Spire AR. And Pete goes down. It's a 3-1 to Acorn, Aegis, and Pollo. It's Pollo's domain, baby. Oh my god. Pollo's just too good, bro. I mean, hey, like I said, credit to Aegis too. Aegis has played phenomenal in the spawn fights today as well. It's not even like Acorn played bad. It's just Aegis and Pollo being first down every time. Full credit to Pollo, Acorn, and Aegis here. They were the better team on the day. They absolutely popped off on Spawn. They weren't able to go on and get a win, but they managed to take Peterbot to a 3-1 off Spawn. A lot of people now saying it was Pollo who was the demon off Spawn the entire time. Now, anytime when there's off Spawn fights, you're going to see a lot of claims of macros being thrown around. Oh, they're macroing, grabbing all the loot. That's not fair. That's cheating. Honestly, Pollo had the best drop, I think, every single game. I think of the last 6 games I've seen off Spawn, I think Pollo has gotten the gun first 5 out of the 6 games, and that's also because he has the best drop almost every single time. To be fair, Pete was doing a very good job of getting the gun when he pressured it as well, but I really think that Pollo combined with Aegis both just absolutely locked in on this Spawn fight. It just looked like Pollo and Aegis wanted it more. They practiced more. Pollo's drops were so incredibly perfect at what is a very awkward drop. Not only is there a lot of weird elevation around Demon's Domain, the fact that you have to land on the top level, but there's a railing so you can't kind of fly straight in unless you hit it perfectly, otherwise you get stuck mantling, really makes this an incredibly skillful 50-50, and that's just what Pollo's team did. They won the drops 3 out of 4 times, and then they won the fight. I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see this breakout into a proper off Spawn. The only Spawn fight we've seen that actually dragged out now is one of the most exciting Spawn fights I've ever seen, but it's still super exciting when it's Pete versus Pollo. We have so much history between these two teams, and now it leaves the question, what does this mean going forward? Is one of them going to leave? Is Peterbot going to leave? Is he going to contest Clicks? Is he now going to maybe contest Booga at Utopia City? At this point, Pete, Cole, and Ritual have made no sign of the fact they're leaving. I think they still want to keep going this drop. If anything, losing has probably made them even hungrier. So if you're enjoying the off-spawn show, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal to watch for me on stream. I think we're going to get this again. We have scrims taking place today, so hopefully we get to see them go at it again, because right now, neither of them is leaving. I thought this off-spawn would be the big topic of the day, but there is arguably potentially a bigger topic that went down. If you watched Clix' stream, or if you watched my stream, or any of the socials, you probably saw what happened to Clix, Higgs, and Iomzo in game 1. They played the perfect game. They had 9 elims, they had a 3v1 at the very end. All they had to do was take down the last player to win the game to make the $1,200, and they couldn't find him. Where was the last player? He was in the sky. So, I made a tweet about this, I made a video about it. There is a new exploit with the base boost gauntlets to where if you shoot the gauntlet and then instantly swap weapons, it doesn't take a charge of the gauntlets and it doesn't take durability, allowing you to infinitely fly. It seems like there are so many items in Fortnite that have bugs that let you infinitely fly, and it looks like Shipsky and his team wanted to take advantage of this. They used this strategy in the opens to qualify. They got 3 wins and 2 second places just by flying the entire endgame, and then in the finals, I didn't know whether they were going to be able to pull it off, and they did. Not only that, Shipsky was also carrying 8 floppers and 3 medkits to guarantee he won the heal off against Clix's team. Now, this has created a gigantic debate of whether Shipsky should be banned. Is this exploiting? Is it not? Now, I understand. My understanding of Fortnite's rules is this is exploiting. Using an item against its intended purpose is exploiting. This isn't just like kind of using, like I had someone try to say, oh, but when Malibuka flew in the helicopter all game and won, that was fair. Yeah, Malibuka flew in the helicopter. He carried fuel tanks up there so he could refuel the helicopter. He was still playing within the confines of the game. But obviously, these gauntlets aren't meant to have infinite uses. You know they're meant to have cooldowns, and you know they're meant to eventually break. If something you're doing is making it take no durability and no charges, clearly the item is not functioning as intended. It's not some creative, quirky use for the item. You are breaking the item. You're not making it work the way it's meant to. And that is Fortnite's definition of an exploit. So I could see them potentially banning Shipsky's team and taking this win away from them and giving it to Clix's team. I could also see them not doing it. It is an evaluation cup. The whole point of these tournaments is to evaluate the game. But a lot of people did bring it to Epic's attention that this bug was in the game, myself included, and they decided not to take it out. So I can see it both ways. If you think it's exploit, you think the player should be punished, I totally get that. If you think it's a little bit too harsh, maybe just have the earnings taken off him, the win given to Clix, but not get punished, I can see that one as well. Or if you think, yo, every exploiter should get banned, screw them, I get it too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that kind of mess up Fortnite games these days. I think everyone gets a little bit upset anytime someone isn't playing 100% fair because there's so many cheaters and other issues in the game right now. This just throws it into another bag of taking the win from someone who deserved it. So it's a messy situation. I definitely wanted to at least talk about it. It did make the first game incredibly spicy to watch. It is worth pointing out, Shipsky after this didn't queue into the next game. His teammate didn't feel right queuing into the next game. They felt bad. Clix's fans were obviously extremely frustrated with this situation. Clix himself saying that he's going to report him to Epic and get them banned. He's going to get the money. So they were feeling a little bit rattled. They did play the last 2 games and they played it normally. They decided to stop using the exploit. They stopped using the base boost gauntlets outside of their intended purpose. They played the game out normally. So credit to them. They didn't try to make more free money and try to get away with it. They did it once. It worked and they stopped doing it. So hopefully Epic can fix it. I don't know what they're going to do to fix this. They're either going to have to vault the item, which a lot of pros would be really happy with. There are so many pros who are incredibly upset with these base boost gauntlets. I really just hope they get nerfed. I don't want to see them vaulted because I think they're really fun, unique, and really cool, but they are causing a lot of issues for the game. Right now, we had some phenomenally big names on EU not qualify. Veno didn't qualify, Mr. Savage didn't qualify, Queasy didn't qualify, Cammy didn't qualify. There were so many big names, and I'm going to say this is one of the main reasons. The mid-game fights right now are just absolute chaos. Most of the big names made it through on NA. The only 2 big names I think who didn't qual on NA that I expected to were 2 of our LAN teams. Visuals and Cooper's team both weren't able to qualify even after Cooper got an almost 40 kill win in game 1. NA seems a little bit easier, but especially on EU, the base boost was seeming a little bit too strong. I do want to highlight and give a shout out to those teams that did get wins because they're popping off right now at the start of the new season. Clix, Higgs, and Iomzo, funny enough, after coming second game 1, went on to win game 2 with an 8 elim win, so they potentially would have had 2 wins in a row. Then we had Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot winning game 3 with their 17 kill win like I talked about. Then we had Shadow, Virgo, and Craze win the last game with a 14 kill win after getting a 10 kill third and a 12 kill third. So Shadow, Virgo, and Craze, in my opinion, the best team in this finals across the board. They were playing playing phenomenally well out of the Resistance base. A Star Wars POI, not some crazy new superhero POI. They are looking really, really solid. Looking on over at EU, like I said, unfortunately, a few big teams didn't make finals, so it made this finals a little bit less stacked, but all credit to Mongrel. We did actually have Mongrel in the finals with Kaido and Haijo. Unfortunately, it didn't go too great for him. They tried to go the south split of the mountain for the first 2 games. They were contested, went down both times on spawn, tried to change it up, went to the first order base the last 2 games, and also went down on spawn. It was a rough day for Mongrel, but he made finals. It was a great showing to get to finals, but no drop spot. Things weren't looking too good, but the vibes were good for the most part, so hopefully that sticks for them. Now, Mr. Savage didn't make finals. This is where people are starting to really say, do Mr. Savage, Rezon, and Chap split up? Their vibes are great. They seem to play well together, but they're just too inconsistent. At what point do these 3 players split up and find different teammates? I think it's an eval cup. The format is always a little bit goofy with only 1 point per kill, only 7 games, 2 hours. It is very easy if you have a couple unlucky games go against you to not qualify. Like I said, I don't want to make excuses, but we had like 7 or 8 of the best teams in EU all not make finals. There's clearly a bit of a trend there, so I wouldn't panic too much if your favorite team didn't make finals, but credit to the teams that did and popped off. So in the finals, we saw some big wins. We had Dexy, Eclipse, and Twy, the brothers. Again, Eclipse and Twy are brothers. Got a 20 elimination victory royale. This was made all the sweeter by KXR, and I love him. He is the EU map maker and analyst of all the EU pros. He honestly has extremely good takes on Fortnite and really does understand the game. He went out on a limb to say that Dexy, Eclipse, and Twy were 100% not going to win a game in finals. Dexy didn't take too kindly to this, called him out on socials, then went on to drop the 20 kill win and just tweeted this. So he definitely wasn't feeling too happy about it, but he was happy that he ended up getting the win overall. We also had Pix, Dam, and Damus, our Poles, who popped off Qualta Land last season, now continuing their domination to this season. They managed to get a 9 kill second, 8 kill third, 10 kill win, and a 5 kill 8th. So insanely consistent. Even more ridiculous when you point out the fact that they were contested off spawn by Thomas HD, Sky, and Scroll. So not only did they beat the Danes 4 times out of 4 games, they also went on to pop off in all of those games. So this wasn't a trio that was just carried by Pump Power. They're now doing it down at the fields over near the Demon's Domain, so they're looking extremely good. Then we had Ghost, Hyper, and Fire in a team that's going the north split, just north of the Superhero Academy. They got a really good zone. They put off a 12 kill win. And then we had Fant, Peshka, and Fury, who managed to get a 9 kill win, which is good because their other 3 games weren't too hot. So we didn't have a lot of our big teams on EU taking the wins. Vanya, Pixie, and Marius had a 14 kill second. Unfortunately, they weren't able to bring it home. We had Pingwox and Malbuka get an 8 Elam third. Vidil's team, unfortunately, only making 1 endgame, getting a 6th place because they were conned on spawn. I dropped Yapko and Panzer getting a 3rd place. So EU right now is up for grabs in this current meta because a lot of the big teams are struggling.